Okay, that's clarifying. I would like to reserve for us the space in the future to come back to flow and to discover together the different dimensions and natures of flow, where what appears to be passivity on the outside may be highly active on the inside, or the reverse. So something to explore, but still in the overview of what you're offering, what is important is that in recent years, the idea of agency has taken up a variety of meanings. And people often talk about agency in the idea of I have agency, in the sense of I have a sense of sovereignty with who I am, with my life, with what I'm about, and nobody else can tell me what to do, so to speak. And often the word agency is associated with that understanding, which in the model you are describing would be somewhere on the side of the ego. And what you are unfolding is, well, fair enough, that is one dimension of agency. And then you can discover yourself in a position and a place where you facilitate and allow a process through you that becomes facilitative, healing, enabling the ecologies that you serve, the circumstances that you serve. And that's a different kind of agency. Because in that description, you become not an agent for yourself, but you become an agency for the remedy or for the solution to the need that you encounter. And when you are able to be in that role, in that function, you serve a purpose other than yourself. You serve the purpose of the circumstance you find yourself in, whether it's healing, whether it's teaching, whether it's releasing and liberating, whether it is bringing beauty and or balance to the circumstance you're in, all of the above. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate that what you're describing further to the left is more a description of the ground that you can increasingly anchor yourself in and find deeper and deeper and deeper layers and deeper and deeper and deeper source. So, which leads me to then full circle back to ask you about loving intention and all the way to love. So you have used the term, the word love, several times in our conversations. And I was pretty transparent in terms of how I've struggled with that word in the past. And before I elaborate more about my struggle and how I'm working to resolve my struggle and work through it, if you needed to explain what you mean by this idea that you addressed earlier in the year, when you said choose love, and in the way you are talking about now, loving intention, and I know you already grounded love all the way to the left as a well spring of some sort, which is going to be very much aligned with what I'm going to propose when we talk through the 7 expressions, 7 layers or 7 levels of love. But where would you ground us when you say choose love? You mean what?
I'll share one more story which will weave into this. I had a meditation about 4 years ago in which I was both a witness and a participant in the tending to the garden of worlds that were like parallel experiments. I don't want to wander too far off, but there was some sense that each of these world lines was trying out different parameters for life. And so this seems quite abstract, but there was a sense also of infinitely many experiments running concurrently. And those experiments that wandered too far from three principles: loving, compassion, and truth. And we're sort of pruned, like snip, snip, snip. And I'm sure from the perspective of inhabiting that world, one could suppose it's like the Last Judgment or something. But there wasn't a sense of catastrophe. It was more like in a kind of mathematical space of possibility, there was an optimization for almost like also a genetic, algorithmic, evolutionary process that favored those realities that are loving, truthful, and compassionate. So I still haven't answered your question, but somehow it's important. And there it was really essential that it's loving, ing, it's active. And so there's some sense of doing, which reminds me of the statement by Saint Augustine, love and do as you will. That's a deep teaching, because if we are in love and loving, what we do will naturally be healing and beneficial. I make that claim at any rate. And so love is good, but what is it still? Yes, there are interactions with people that we might say are loving. There's some notion of caring. If it's compassion, it's also likely to be directly alleviating pain, suffering. And so love, it also connotes healing to me, and I'm sure most people. So there's like a word cloud, if you will, a tag cloud that we could say is kind of what we're talking about. And maybe that herein lies the difficulty, because love has all of these facets and aspects. So there's love as an ing, as a kind of verb. There's definitely a sense of movement and doing. But when I talk about love in the lower left corner, I'm really talking about it more as a noun. And I feel that it's prior to nouns and verbs. So it's not that it's not also verb-like, because it's down there in the non-dual space of where everything kind of comes together. But so it's verb and noun, but there is some sense of it being fundamental. And so the fundamental love as such is, today I was getting actually in meditation, it's a promise. It's a guarantee. This was totally new to me, and it came in quite a surprising way. A guarantee of non-separation, of the impossibility of actually separating life from life, and then the doing of that guarantee, sort of the action that maintains that promise, are all the different forms of love.
Yeah.
Compassion, kindness, caring, loving intention. So that's where I am with love in this moment.
Yeah, that's helpful. So I think what I'd like to do is actually, well, first address the last word, one of the last words you used, which was guarantee. I propose to sense into another similar word and see whether it calibrates right in that space, which is grant rather than guarantee, as a possibility. But the main thing I'd like to do is I'd like us to go into the word cloud and bring order and clarity out of the cloud, because that's what I do when I struggle with not just a concept, but with something that is so overused in so many different people.